What do you need me to do?
I don't know what to do.
This is Anne Valgora. This morning, she woke up to find her husband dead.
She's saying when she woke up, the door was unlocked and there was an alarm around 4 a.m.
She appeared traumatized, or at least that's what she wanted the officers to believe.
Well, that was smart thinking.
Dispatcher for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she helped a lot of people through hard things.
I think she shot him.
No, I think he shot himself and she hid the gun.
The officers initially assumed her husband had taken his own life, but the horrifying truth was something far more sinister.
Well, no matter what he was doing, that gun's not there. But there's no way he can kill himself if there's no gun.
He got a knife on his boot.
Is he a fucking cop?
I'm just going to tell you, we found that you were responsible for Steven's death.
It's 3 p.m. on June 18th, 2019, when officers are dispatched to the home of a frantic woman who's just made a chilling discovery. Her husband was shot in the head and lying motionless on their bedroom floor. Within minutes, officers arrive at the gruesome scene.
I don't know where the gun is because I want to try and keep everything as much as I can until the camera gets here. But I mean, like I said, I have no idea where the gun is. Okay. I'm guessing it's in that hand.
Alright, well, I'm not gonna go moving anything.
I don't know how much you can check without, but I mean, we've got the discoloration, everything. So,
Do we know where the gun is?
nope. I figure investigators are here already. We'll just, I mean, he's dead. Like she said, it's in here somewhere. I'm assuming it's.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh yeah, he's discolored. He's everything.
At first glance, the officers didn't notice anything unusual beyond the obvious. A man dead from an apparent gunshot wound. There were no immediate signs of a struggle or forced entry, leading investigators to initially consider the possibility of a self-inflicted injury. But when they go to question his wife, that version of events begins to fall apart.
You last saw him about 2 a.m.?
About 1-ish. I went to bed, we were watching a movie, and
I didn't hear anything through the night.
I didn't hear anything, but I take all my meds at night.
So all 3 of you slept in that room last night?
Yeah.
She's saying that all 3 of them slept in this room last night, which makes no sense.
Huh? So she woke up and what?
You don't just walk by that.
No.
To officers, something about the scene felt off. It seemed nearly impossible that the whole family slept undisturbed in the same bedroom while Steven fired a gun just a few feet away. If Steven truly shot himself, he somehow managed to do it without disturbing anyone, a scenario investigators found nearly impossible to believe. So with that suspicion lingering, officers continued examining the body, and what they discovered next would make the situation even stranger.
What do we have on tabletops? Anything interesting?
No, I didn't see if there was,
Nothing on the nightstands or...
Are you thinking like a note or something? Or?
Could be anything. Yeah. We're in 511s.
Is it a holster?
Yeah, I'll bet you're right.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? That
Where's there a hole?
over his head. Oh.
Yep. That's what you're saying. Yep. There's the entrance.
Oh, yep. So then we've got a bullet somewhere. Maybe. Or you mean a casing? If he was laying on the floor when he did it. If he's laying on his side like this, boom, and then it falls. And
Flops over.
Yeah.
You want to move the blanket? No. It's not there.
Why is wearing a holster?
Well, and he's in 511s.
Huh?
He's in 511s.
Mm-hmm.
There's a shell casing.
Yep.
But I still don't see a gun.
Hold in there.
Well, if there's no f***ing gun, then it's not.
Something's not right. No.
But there's no way he can kill himself if there's no gun.
Whoa. This just got unexpected.
But he's got a knife boot. He's got a flashlight in his pocket. He's got a f***ing holster on, and he's wearing 511s. And it looks like maybe, gloves or something in his pocket. Is he a f***ing cop?
Officers just made a critical discovery. The victim was 55-year-old Steven Olson, a third-year officer with UNMC Public Safety and a United States Army veteran. This revelation immediately explained the tactical boots and police equipment scattered around the room. But despite this breakthrough, investigators were still missing a major detail. The gun was nowhere to be found.
Well, no matter what he was doing, that gun's not there. So even if he's laying sideways,
in case he's going to shoot somewhere else.
Ready? 1550.
he was laying. I mean, his head was positioned on the left, right? Or no?
Yeah.
Now I'm really glad I asked Brett Dash. I'm like, can we try not to move him too much?
It's better to stay up until crime line, but still doesn't make sense. The fucking gun should be laying right there. Should be right by one of those hands.
And so even if he's on his side and he falls over the shell casing, like the gun's got to be somewhere. Or
It's got to be right by one of those hands.
I mean, for her to already be in like, oh, the door was unlocked, we didn't hear anything.
Right.
You were in the...
The details are still not adding up for officers, and as additional investigators arrive, attention shifts back to Anne, whose account is becoming increasingly suspicious. So to move forward, detectives decide to press Anne further, hoping to uncover any crucial details she may be holding back.
I came out this morning and found the front door open and the screen door, and I always have them locked, and the alarm was not set, which he said he was going to run the dogs one more time and lock the doors up. And no, it was when I went to wake him up that, of course, turned on the light and went, oh crap, and threw the blanket over the top of him. And I'm like, come on, you can't see that.
Mm-hmm. How was Steven when you woke up? You said about 2:15.
Today, this afternoon. I'm like, well, I didn't check him right away.
Mm-hmm.
He was laying on, he was laying there. I kind of went out through the dark and let the dogs out. And the room's pretty. It's got dark shades, so I just snuck out, let the dogs out, went to the bathroom, and Mom called once, so I called her back, and I'm like, look, I gotta get him up. I don't know what time he goes to work.
So he was laying on the floor in the dark when you woke up?
Yes.
You came out, placed a phone call to your mom?
Yes.
Anne's story is starting to raise serious doubts. She insists that when she first walked past Steven, she didn't notice anything unusual, and it wasn't until she tried to wake him up that she realized he was unresponsive. But detectives notice that Anne doesn't appear shaken or upset. In fact, she's unusually calm for someone who's just lost her husband. With these red flags mounting, investigators shift their questions to Steven's background, looking for any evidence that might confirm or rule out the possibility that his death was self-inflicted.
As far as history with Steven, had he made any comments about self-harm or wanting to hurt himself?
No, we were just, like I said, we were trying to put things back together.
Tell me more about putting it back together.
We had separated just because he drank heavily. I mean, he does, he had slowed down quite a bit, and I said, look, if you're gonna have a drink, I get it. You can't drink to intoxication every time.
Mm-hmm. How often do you drink? Every day. How much?
3 or 4 whiskey and cokes, and they were not on the weak side.
Did he ever threaten violence, anything like that?
No, not towards himself.
Were you guys ever involved in any sort of physical altercation?
No.
What about just fights in general?
We argued about about how much money he spent on alcohol, considering there's other things, but this little guy had been through a little trauma about that he thought that there was somebody walking through the house or had been in the house before, and that ties into the loony bit about the whole thing.
The loony bit?
The loony bit, yes. Last year they were telling me I was absolutely loony, that I was, and the bottom line was I have anxiety, acute anxiety disorder, I'm OCD.
Despite Anne sharing new details about her troubled relationship with Steven, detectives weren't any closer to an answer. If anything, her story only created more confusion. Sure, their marriage had issues, and Steven's drinking was clearly a problem according to Anne, but nothing she said directly implicated her in Steven's death. And as far as detectives could tell, a self-inflicted injury was still very much on the table. However, there was one critical detail that could finally break this case wide open: the missing gun. With that in mind, detectives decided to direct this question towards Anne, hoping she could clarify this crucial detail.
What do you need me to do?
I don't know what to do.
Well, we're going to work through it a little bit at a time. When you found him today, was there a gun laying near him?
I didn't see it. I immediately looked over and I was like...
Would you have grabbed the gun and thrown it in a drawer so that he wouldn't see it?
No.
Okay.
I didn't even see the gun. I saw the head.
Right.
I was like, I threw the blanket over and I went over. I'm like, come on, buddy, we gotta come out of here.
And that was smart thinking.
Dispatcher for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she helped a lot of people through hard things.
Okay, and just kind of let you know, just so you're aware of what the next step is.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine.
That's okay. Nobody knows.
If you have any questions at any point in time, just ask, okay?
Yes.
I can't say I've been on the receiving end of this.
At this point, police still weren't sure what to make of Anne's story, and with the gun nowhere to be found, they had no way of determining exactly what happened. So, hoping to uncover new details, investigators returned to the bedroom to examine Steven's body more closely. And it didn't take long before they noticed something strange about his position.
You know, if he's sleeping and someone else shot him, that's a weird position for his arm to be in. If you do this, and then your body goes limp, I think that arm position would be more natural. I think she hid the gun somewhere.
I think she shot him.
No, I think he shot himself, and she doesn't want this to be so she hid the gun.
The more investigators examined Steven's body, the stranger the situation became. His positioning seemed odd for someone shot while asleep, leaving them genuinely uncertain about what really happened. However, by now, investigators had narrowed down their theories to three main possibilities. The first, and perhaps simplest explanation, was that Steven had shot himself, and Anne innocently moved the gun afterwards, perhaps hoping to protect his dignity. This scenario seemed plausible given Steven's heavy drinking problems and the couple's deteriorating marriage. But there was also the possibility that Anne had darker motives altogether, intentionally killing Steven for reasons detectives had yet to uncover. And finally was Anne's troubling claim that she woke up to find the front door unlocked and the home security alarm mysteriously disabled. This suggested someone else entirely had quietly entered the home and murdered Steven without being detected. Perhaps someone holding a grudge against Steven due to his line of work in law enforcement. With too many unanswered questions and the growing sense of uncertainty, investigators collected Anne's DNA and asked her to come down to the station for a formal interview, hoping the interrogation would finally reveal the dark truth behind Steven's death. Anne is placed in an interrogation room with her sister and a pastor, a clever tactic by the officers. The presence of the pastor is meant to make Anne feel more at ease, hoping she'll open up about what really happened the night before.
It's like a little chilly in here, isn't it? He might have tell you something because there was more of a worry when I first came there. I think it's really warmer, you can imagine.
Well, with a big old wind outside, it makes it a little chilly.
Yeah. I think Anne Valgora was saying, basically, no, I just didn't plan my day like this. We didn't plan our day like this.
Who plans a day like this?
Nobody.
Now that Anne is relaxed and talkative, the officers make their next move. They send in the detective to question her and uncover what she might be hiding.
So the first question we always ask is, did you have any part in any involvement in his death?
No.
Okay. Does he normally always carry a gun? Did he have a gun on him that was last night?
Has a gun.
Okay.
he does usually when he takes it off and sets it by him somewhere in the radius of reach, usually when he goes to bed.
Where does he typically store the gun?
At night? He's loose with it. I don't know if you could hear it because there it could be in his holster. I've seen him stick with it laying right next to his hand. I've seen him on top of it. You know.
What do you think happened to the handgun?
I have no, I have no idea from the time I tell it for you.
Even after the detective asked her directly about Steven's death, Anne stuck to her story, insisting that she had no involvement and no idea where the missing gun could be. With no new leads coming from Anne herself, detectives paused the interview. At this point, they knew their next step had to be a thorough search of Anne's home. So, armed with a search warrant, investigators returned to the house, hoping that whatever Anne hasn't told them might still be hidden inside. And, sure enough, it didn't take long before they found their biggest clue yet.
This is a video of 600 South Fillmore. We're going to do a walkthrough from the southwest bedroom into the laundry room. The 32 auto was found in this LG dryer.
With the missing gun now finally discovered, detectives faced a crucial final question, determining who pulled the trigger. Fortunately, officers quickly uncovered another critical piece of evidence, a neighbor's Nest security camera, and after carefully reviewing the footage, investigators confirmed that nobody had entered or left the house during the night. This revelation directly contradicted Anne's earlier claims about waking up to an unlocked door and disabled alarm. Now detectives were convinced that Anne had deliberately misled them, so they brought her back to the interrogation room, this time ready to confront her directly with the truth.
So obviously we went out to the house and we did a search warrant. I definitely think we have a better idea or a better picture as far as what happened. I'm just going to tell you, we found that you were responsible for Steven's death.
Okay. I'd like an attorney.
Okay. You want to stand up?
How could I'm just asking, in what way would I be responsible for it?
Well, we can't, you know, we can't have a further discussion with you if you've invoked your right and you'd like to speak with an attorney. So,
okay.
That stops our interview, Anne.
Okay. I'm sorry, yeah, but if you're telling me.
Turn around.
After being arrested, Anne was taken to the Sarpy County Jail, where she was held on a $2 million bond. As her case progressed, prosecutors revealed new details that finally shed light on Anne's motive for murdering Steven. It turned out that after Anne had left her job as a dispatcher, Steven provided her with a monthly allowance. But when their marriage deteriorated, he stopped those payments, leaving Anne financially desperate. Prosecutors argued that Anne staged Steven's death hoping to collect on his life insurance policy, for which she was the sole beneficiary. But ultimately, no claim was ever filed and no money was ever paid out. Additionally, a detective testified that Anne's 10-year-old son told police he'd heard a muffled gunshot during the night and that his mother told him to go back to sleep. Initially charged with first-degree murder, Anne pleaded guilty in July 2022 to first-degree assault and tampering with evidence. And in October 2022, she was sentenced to 40 to 50 years in prison for the assault charge and an additional 1 to 2 years for tampering.